The assassination attempt. At this point, we've seen so many different clips, but another clip came out today. I'll show you this one as well. I don't know if you've seen this one that came out today with the cops walking around knowing minutes before, and then you hear the shooting. We heard ta-ta-ta, 3, then ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, the 5, and then the last bullet that we hear. Just open-ended question to you from having been in this space, 50 plus years you've been in this space. You've been serving since you were 1972. You're born March 10th, 1954. So you've been in this business for what, 51, 52 years, give or take?
52 years last week.
52. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your service. Open-ended. What are your thoughts? When you saw the assassination attempt, Secret Service, them getting up, all the different stories coming out, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, first and foremost, you must understand that I have been the guy who told a SWAT team, you have the green light, shoot. So I have been the one that ordered people shot by a SWAT team.
Can you be specific? When was that? What was the
situation?
situation?
Oh, my goodness. There's been more than once. But one time a man went into a restaurant in Fort Meade and shot it's been 35 years ago, and he killed 1 or 2 people and shot a couple more, and then he took hostages. And then he shot at us after we got there. We tried to take him peacefully into custody. That's not what he wanted, so we shot him graveyard dead. That was his choice. So I've been there and done that. When I saw the very first television interview of the shooting of President Trump, I knew immediately they'd screwed it up. Because regardless of what else happened, regardless of the different media perspectives, and they were just talking to whoever, the mere fact that they didn't have someone on the roof of a building 148 yards to the lectern where the president's speaking is raw insanity. That's not just a failure. That's raw insanity. There's also a water tower that you don't have to be on that water tower as long as no one else is on it and you've got somebody at the base of the water tower. Now, as time goes on, there's failure after failure after failure after failure. But when you put political people in charge of professional law enforcement agencies, you get political decisions instead of professional law enforcement decisions. Well, I can tell you, wake up, America. The public doesn't want political decisions when it comes to saving lives. They want professional decisions, and that's what saves lives.
Unpack that if you could.
Well, first,
political decisions.
Political decisions is you've put somebody in charge of the Secret Service. They're a political appointment. Where did they come from? What was their background? Did they have the ability to do that job? And the job is at that level. You're not going to go out there and train, but you're going to say, let me see the training curriculum. I know for a fact, following the rules, the Secret Service is well-versed, and I underscore, of doing the appropriate security on an event like that. So what happened that day? Where did the failure start? Well, first and foremost, it started at the very top when she started dancing around and not publicly saying, hey, listen, there's a full-throated investigation underway, and I can tell you, if I know nothing else, we've had mistakes occur because no one was on the roof securing it. And we, in our county, have worked with Secret Service over and over and over again. They're remarkably professional, and there's never been a time when we wouldn't have somebody on that roof. So when you've got an appointed person that's the CEO, if you will, of the Secret Service, and they don't know exactly what's going on. I mean, when you have the President of the United States or the past President of the United States or potentially the future President of the United States that you are providing security for, you have to make sure you've done everything exactly correct. And they didn't. Okay, so October 12, 2016, if I'm not mistaken, President Trump came and gave a speech in 2016 at Lakeland, which is 25 miles away from Polk County.
Were you on that? Were you working on that event or no?
Lakeland is in our county.
So were you on that?
I personally wasn't, but our people would have been on that.
Your people were. Okay,
Absolutely.
perfect. So 2016, he's coming in. He's not president yet. Or was he president already? October, no, he was not president yet,
He was not
right?
president.
So he's campaigning, and that's October 12th. That's 2-3 weeks before. So it's like peak of intensity. Him and Hillary are going back and forth. So that's your county.
Yes.
You were not there. What is the protocol of Secret Service collaborating with local SWAT, local police department? How does that relationship work out?
Yes. My SWAT team was there.
Okay.
My detail was there. Whatever the Secret Service asked for, the Lakeland Police detail was there. We meet with Secret Service in advance. They send advance teams in. The president, as we know, who was then running for president, met at the airport. So the Secret Service is in charge of all of that, and they tell us, okay, we'll take this position, you take this position. They go so far, and I was just talking about my SWAT commander who's been on some of these. Hey, if you're on this roof, don't take your rifle because we've got rifles over here, and we don't want the crossfire with high-powered rifles. You use your handgun. So the Secret Service comes down to the training and the prep to tell you what kind of gun to have depending on your assignment in these particular areas. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, they're very good at that. So for that to be a total flop, you've got to say, where did the problem begin? It always ends with the CEO. And why didn't she immediately fly there that day and start immediately taking control of that situation and getting answers? Why didn't she do that? The only one that can answer that is her. But what happens in traditional police environment, the first thing they do is find a hole to dive in. And while they're diving in the hole, they think, well, who all can I blame this on? Well, the reality of it is that doesn't work. No one is perfect. No matter how well that protocol went that day, something can go bad. People understand when you take responsibility and you make immediate improvements, or when you mess something up, say, we messed this up, and we didn't see any of that in the beginning because that's not how the federal government operates.
Okay, so you're saying when the Secret Service comes, they'll have a communication with the local police department
Absolutely.
and SWAT. And at the time, the director of Secret Service in 2016 was Joseph Clancy, who was appointed by Obama, I believe. So it's not like he's a conservative guy that was appointed, but he stayed on from Trump as well a little bit, and then he replaced him. This is what the local SWAT team just said when they were interviewed by ABC, Sheriff Judd, and they asked them, did the Secret Service reach out to speak to you, SWAT? Here's the answer they gave. And again, this isn't Fox News. This is ABC. Go for it.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
You had no communication with the Secret Service at all on that Saturday?
Not until after the shooting.
Wow.
And by then?
It was too late.
How do you process this?
That's a failure with a capital F. And here's what I know. Our team works with, does prep in advance, and our team is simply the very best. Secret Service is the very best. I've never been involved with a Secret Service and a Secret Service operation that we didn't have conversations down to the absolute minutia.
Can you be specific with that?
Well, exactly. Like which guns do you carry for this particular assignment? Okay, the feds have one radio system. We have a different radio system. We have a radio system that statewide and all our local agencies can talk. Mm-hmm. But if the feds have a separate system, then we marry our locals with the feds. So we always have Fed communications, mm-hmm. and they always have our communications. Every time, all the time, That's why this stuff that I'm watching on television, it's like, wait a minute. We couldn't have all brought our favorite 2 bottles of wine and made up this horror story with pencil and paper if we wanted to create the worst nightmare. So I don't understand all of that, because we always communicate with Secret Service. It's a mandate. And in my organization, if Secret Service didn't talk to us like we know they should, that would bubble up to the top, to me. I'd pick the phone up and I'd call the big bosses at Secret Service and go, what the heck? But we've never had that conversation. We've never had to have that conversation.
So you're putting a little bit of the onus on Butler as well. You're not just putting it on Secret Service.
Every one of them. I'm putting it on all of them. The state police, the county police, the city police, and the Secret Service. If they weren't all talking together, they all had a responsibility. Now, I'll tell you, Butler is a little bitty place. They may not know how all this works.
Got it.
The big guys come in and tell them, you do this, you do that. They do what they're told. But did they? I can't answer that question. But that's why I'm shocked, because the Secret Service, I know, is very professional and does an outstanding job.
So when you say Butler's a little city, it's literally 13,000 people living there. That's just, Rob just pulled it up right there. It's showing 13,000 people living there. But a clip came out this morning. I'm watching this. Cops are running around like confused, right? I don't know if you saw this clip. Cops are running around confused, and you're watching this saying, wait a minute, you know the guy's up there. Why aren't you guys doing anything about it? As the sheriff of Polk County, celebrating 52 years last week, who has had his team, Lakeland, which is in Polk County, deal with the 2016 Trump campaign when he was only an entrepreneur. He wasn't a president yet. Today, he's a former president, and he draws a bigger audience than he did back then. If you were in charge of this operation here, how differently would you have handled it? If I can get your attention on this video, Rob, please play this clip.
That's all we wanted to do. If he was doing the job, I wouldn't even be doing this.
They've already identified he's up there.
Fucking building right now.
There's something going on in this building.
Instead, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator elected and to make sure
Oh my God.
we get back to the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America.
What are
There's
they
somebody in
doing
this
walking
building.
around?
We're going to make it. And it's not easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be there. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals.
The point of this clip going for 2 minutes is you're hearing him give the speech. While cops are aware, they're running around. People are worried like something's happening.
In recorded history in the best way. You don't mind if I go off teleprompter.
It's about to happen in a few seconds. This is now almost 2 minutes.
My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow.
It's about to happen.
See the big red arrow, right? So that's what I left off. That's the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services. Comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history.
People are panicking.
Make yourself small, bro. I don't know what's going on.
How many mistakes out of protocol, proper training for an event where the president's coming to town? How many different mistakes and approach you see here?
Well, I haven't found anything right yet.
Okay.
It's all wrong. And I've heard that they had up to an hour and a half. That at some point they actually saw the guy take out a rangefinder. Okay,
Golf rangefinder.
or golf rangefinder.
Right.
At that moment in time, we'd run that guy down, and he would have been with us having a conversation till the president left. He would not have ever gotten on the roof. But if we didn't find him, if he got lost in a crowd, I didn't see a crowd there, wouldn't have made any difference. We would have been on the roof ahead of time. We'd have been on the roof when we started staging and prepping for that event. So there wouldn't have been an empty roof for him to get on. And I look at that and I'm mortified. I'm absolutely mortified. You saw police officers that didn't know what they were doing. Now, that police officer on the ground doesn't have a ladder, but did you see him calling for a ladder? Did you see him pulling a car up so he can climb up on the roof and get onto the roof of the building? Nobody reacted. It's mortifying, the entire event.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear, and this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.